bill. It's good to see most of you. I see a lot of you that have been part of the journey and you still persist, you still are here. We value your contribution. We also welcome the new faces that I'm seeing here. We welcome your contributions. Please feel free. I think we're all aware that with digital transformation, digitalization requires the processing of a large amount of data online in digital format, and this poses a high risk of data breaches. And therefore, this necessitates the law that protects the citizens online, their privacy rights online. The bill that we are validating today aims at setting the regulatory framework on how personal data should be collected, stored, and processed. And it aims to protect the individual's fundamental rights, freedom, as well as privacy. This bill aims to place obligations on what we term as the controllers and processors of your personal information, how you should handle the personal information or data that is under your care. We'll go into details, but it's very important that you all understand as processors and controllers what your obligations are, because if you don't comply, there will be legal consequences according to the bill. I'm sure we're all aware of cases that are ongoing on neighboring South Africa, where the information regulator, I think it's been reported recently, that was probing or actually was investigating the leak of personal information of several survivors of a high-profile sexual assault case. That is one of the things that if you have information in your possession and you don't safeguard, these are the consequences, because the bill actually aims at establishing the regulatory authority, the body then that would oversee the implementation of this bill. You might recall that the ministry, through various social media platforms, called for inputs and comments into the bill. We've received a number of that. You would also recall, as Dr. Kamutwedu has mentioned, that the ministry has embarked upon extensive regional consultations on this bill. We've been throughout the country. We picked so many issues that should be considered in this bill. So we are here today to verify and validate the content of this bill, and we welcome your comments. I want to urge you all of us to work together and find common grounds in order to improve the bill. Let us not attack individually. Let us not attack one another, but rather let's attack the issues at hand. Also, we should keep in mind the international best practices that Namibia should adopt. I think we are all aware that Namibia has ratified the AU Convention on the Protection of Personal Data and Cybercrime and other legal instruments. At the moment, we are following the discussions that are held from New York, the UN Convention on Countering the Use of ICT for Criminal Purposes. We are trying then also to see how that can be integrated into that, because at that platform meeting that started yesterday, the issue of protection of personal data comes up. With that, I welcome you wholeheartedly and wish you all fruitful deliberations. I thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Aipinge, for the welcome remarks on behalf of the Minister of ICT. You have noticed that she has cut all the protocol issues. Ladies and gentlemen, the salutation.
The data protection laws and the various conventions in that regard and treaties. At the SADC level, we have what we call the model laws on one on cybersecurity, one on electronic transactions, and one on data protection, and we take them in consideration when drafting our laws. The International Telecommunications Union did an assessment. We're in a country at some point and assisted countries and helped Namibia then to come up with the first draft bill that followed stakeholders' consultative meetings. Now, at the African level, just to put it in context, the African Union, the member states of the African Union, they work together to come up with what is called the AU Convention on Cybercrime, of Cybersecurity and Personal Data Protection, and it aims to strengthen the data protection legal and regulatory frameworks. Namibia has signed and ratified that convention. In order for the convention to come into force, a number of member states ought to sign, ratify. The last time I checked, I read that there was another signature that quantified this convention to come into force, but I haven't gotten an official communication in that regard, but I read about it. Why this is just going backwards and all that. Yes. Another point worth mentioning is that the World Bank, the UK Foreign Commonwealth Office, the Commonwealth Secretariat, and the Council of Europe were in the country. They looked, they did actually, they undertook an assessment. The main purpose was basically just to look at the level of cybersecurity maturity in Namibia, but they also had to look at our data protection as well as our cybercrime bills, and they reviewed, as I indicated, the maturity of a country. So that mission produced a report with various recommendations, and specific to this topic, basically just that the refinement of the Data Protection and Cybercrime Bill, they provided a narrative and comparison in that regard. Now, we had, in all that we do, we have to obtain cabinet approval. Cabinet approved in principle then the draft bill with the reports that were submitted, and then refer the bill to the Cabinet Committee on Legislation, which is more a technical arm of Cabinet. So CCL, as it's abbreviated, referred then that bill to the Ministry for refinement after it was discussed, and the bill was refined, shared with stakeholders for comment. As I've mentioned, we also consulted all regions, and we are here validating. We appreciate the support received via the NIPDP, the EU and Africa RISE, for assisting the ministry securing the services of a consultant that has actually been assisting us in the process. Now, just a bit of a high level in terms of the bill. When we say personal data, what exactly it is and all that we refer to information or data stored on a computer or an organized paper filing system about living people. I remember we had issues when we only talked about living people. We were also concerned, what about the dead? So that is one thing that can be discussed. So such information should then be protected, and there should be rules on how or about how the data of the people can be used. So organizations that I've mentioned, controllers and processors of personal data, should therefore adhere to the set rules. These are just examples, but I will not go into the details. But your personal data, there are personal descriptors like your name, your age, your date of birth. It's very dear to me. There could be many Lindas, but there could be one tall, medium-sized Linda. There could be another Linda. So that's what distinguishes us from one another. Our fingerprint, our identity numbers, those are our personal information. Even your debit and credit card numbers, because they are attached to you. That's why it's very important that you're careful about what you give out there in terms of such financial information. Your ethnicity, your race, your color, your nationality, even your health record, your blood type. We could all be different type of blood type, but it could be Linda with the O, attached also to my identity number. Physical or your mental disabilities also is classified as your personal information. Now, what are we trying to achieve with the Personal Data Protection Bill or Data Protection Bill? We want to, or we aim to have harmonized approaches to data protection, give effect to privacy for information, to combat the violation of data likely to arise from your collection, the processing, transmission, storage, and usage of your personal data. So and I keep referring to the processors and controllers of personal data as we go into details in terms of your obligations, how you collect the information, how you process, how you transmit, how you store, how you use my information. I always give this an example that when I went to Natis, I got my license, I registered my vehicle. I want my information to be with Natis. And the only crime that I commit apparently in the traffic offense is speeding through the red robots, the red lights. I always get such tickets, but then I'm like, City Police, where did you get my information from? Because I only registered myself with Netis, not with you. Just food for thought. So also we aim to regulate the data protection. Now, in terms of the objectives, I might be repeating a couple of information because it's somehow related, but the bill proposes the establishment of a data protection supervisory authority and provides for its powers, duties, and functions, establishes the obligations of data controllers and processors, makes provision for the regulation of the processing of the individual information or data, protect the fundamental human rights and freedom of individuals, their rights to privacy concerning their information, the processing of the information. It provides for restrictions and exceptions, and also importantly, the codes of conduct of controllers and processors. The key provisions of the bill basically are, I think we all know that we need to define the terminologies that are used so that we all know when you talk about a processor, what exactly is that? When you say a controller, when you talk about data, what exactly is that? Then the Data Protection Authority, as I've mentioned, roles and obligations, roles and functions, the obligation of controllers, the exceptions, the codes of conduct, transborder flows of personal data, enforcement, and then general provisions. With that, it's very important then for us to collaborate. I've mentioned earlier that we are here to seek your input and validation. It's very important because we can't do this. Personal data is affecting each one of us. Somewhere, somehow, your information or your data is handled by a particular organization. It's also very important to know what your rights are as a data subject, as we call the owner of the data. The end goal is for us to have legislative framework in place. And after that, with that and as a way forward, then we would go back to the Cabinet Committee on Legislation after this session, just to take back the bill and after it has been refined. And then the Cabinet wants to see that before then the bill is tabled in Parliament. That's a process that we ought to follow moving from here. So with that, I thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause, colleagues. Thank you very much, Ms Linda Aipinge.